Hello folks, welcome to Saving Miller. Let's do another honest product review, HPR. So, the last one that I did was of a fence charger that doesn't work. I did one of the one that you don't want. So let's do one of a particular fence charger that I think is pretty quality, and I think it'll serve you well. I haven't owned a whole bunch of them, but this one I think is well designed and it'll work well for you. So right here it is. This is the primary one that I use for the cows. And so this is the Solar IntelliShock 60 from Premier One Fencing. And we use this one to keep the cows in line, the steers here. And so it powers the fence across the front, the dividing fence, and then whatever other fences we have, sectioning them off. And then we also use this one for the chicken netting, and it actually works pretty well. So the netting is out there. That's okay, don't quote me on this, 120 feet long, I think. And I get 6,000 volts out there right now, the way it's set up. So let's first of all look at the setup. So I've got this thing mounted on the post, and this, I don't really like the design of this thing. This is designed to go on a number of different types of posts, and so it's round. It doesn't work real well for a T-post. This thing will just spin right around. It's really pretty annoying. And so almost every day I'm resetting this thing so that the solar panel is facing south towards the sun. Very annoyed about that. I want it on the fence here so that it's not bothering the cows, and so that it's up so the dog doesn't bother it and all of that. But this little adapter doesn't work very well, and it does not come with the charger. So that's actually a gripe that I have with it. The second thing I want to point out is that I have a ground rod that's about 8 feet deep, and it's down in the ground. I've got a green wire coming off of it, and then I've got the negative hooked up to that ground. So I get a very good ground on this thing. And then I've got the positive. This thing's on, I got to turn it off so I don't hurt myself. I've got the positive holding all the different wires together because I've got wires going 3 directions here. And so these are the clamps that come with it. And I really like these. These are well designed, very well done. They hold on to stuff. They're not letting loose, they're not breaking. So that's the way I've got it set up. Now, alternatively, you can also, if you have pretty wet soil, you can actually jam this thing down into the ground and get a decent ground off of that. So you would put this clamp right on there, up here, and it would be secured. Now, I currently have basically that set up on the other one. So I've got 2 of these, and that one out there is basically to keep the cows out of the nightshade patch that we have. And so I've got it jammed into the ground, and I can get a really decent ground that way, as long as it's not too dry. Right now our soil's a little bit dry, so I do also have a ground rod out there because I want to make sure they stay out of there. So let's look at the features of the charger itself. So inside here is 1 battery. Now they make another model, I believe it's the 120, this is the 60. They make another model that has 2 batteries in it. Now, I think this is just fine for, you know, the 2 acres that we're fencing. It's really all that we need, and it works well. So to get to the battery, the top actually comes off here, and you can get inside and you can replace the battery if you need to or whatever. But this bottom part of the case is one piece. This is sealed. This is weatherproof. There's a gasket in there that keeps it sealed from rain. And so I think that's a very, very good design feature. This thing should hold up well in the weather. We don't get a lot of rain here, but we do have flood irrigation, and so if something happens and this thing is on the ground, this will keep it dry. It has happened with the other one a couple of times. Now, another really nice feature about this unit is the on and off button. It's pretty clear. I mean, it's on. You've got the green light, and the fence is on. If there are issues, it will turn red. So if there's problems on there. So I'll turn it off again. You can see it's not blinking. So it's a very nice switch. It feels good, and it makes a very positive contact. The little man does not like this thing. Now, the solar panel is very adjustable, so for transport, I don't really move this thing around. I do occasionally, but typically I'm not moving this thing. But for transport, you can flip this thing down. It's not real smooth, but you slide that on down on this track, and there's a carry handle up here. So the thing's pretty heavy, but you can carry it with one hand, move it around, put it where you need it to be. So here you can see on the back, you have to buy this separately. Like I said, not great, but it is usable in a lot of different scenarios. So now I've had this thing for about 1.5 years, and it has been very reliable. It has good power. The cows definitely respect the fence. It hurts a lot, so I do not touch it ever. A good amount of power for the fencing that we have. It will cut through some weeds, but typically I can hear it and just get the weeds out of the way, and it doesn't reduce it too much. So that's what I use. I would recommend this for a smaller application similar to what we have here. I think most homesteads would be just fine with the Solar IntelliShock 60. If you do have more fencing, like I said, they have a couple other models, and then they have a higher grade one that is probably even better. But I find that this one holds up quite well. You know, we've had 0 problems. The charger on the solar is really good, and we've been quite happy with it. So here's a product I'd recommend. If you need a solar-powered fence charger for your little homestead or farm, I would recommend this one. Saving Miller out.